One of the first tips that any new entrepreneur is given is to build your audience. The problem is that your friends and family already know what you're doing. They aren't necessarily your audience, and there doesn't seem to be a clear way to figure out how to get in front of your audience, how to meet those people. And it leaves you feeling a bit like you're adrift at sea without a compass, GPS, or even a good old-fashioned map. As an entrepreneur, it shouldn't be so hard to connect with your audience. I get it though. It is one of the hardest things to do as an entrepreneur. Building awareness about you and your business is tough. The fact is that until that audience building happens, the rest of the business building doesn't really matter. Yes, you need your ideas, a solid foundation, and all of that. But without an audience to share your idea with, it will just stay tucked away on your computer, in your journal, or on an unseen web page. Today, we are going to talk about building that audience, and I'll give you some practical ideas and ways for getting started. And no, it is not just about being consistent on social media, although that won't hurt. I'm Dr. Moore, a college psych professor, homeschooling mom, and entrepreneur, and I've spent the past 10 years learning how to balance everything. Here on the Entrepreneur Mindset podcast, I'll share the ins and outs of maintaining a growth mindset and saying hello to grit, that thing that will get you to your long-term vision despite challenges and busy schedules. After all, you got into business to do more good in the world, right? So let's get started. I will be the first person to tell you that building an audience is an emotion-filled journey. You see big industry names in the online space, and they have audiences of thousands. And I don't just mean 2,000. I took a look today at Instagram, and Amy Porterfield has 331,000 followers. Alex Hormozy has 737,000 followers. And by the way, if you haven't checked out his book, $100 Million Offers, you should. Dean Graziosi has 1 million followers. You see these numbers, you hear these numbers and think, geez, I'll never get there. Well, let me start by telling you that you don't need those kinds of follower numbers to run a successful business. In fact, if you ask Amy Porterfield if she focuses on IG followers, she'll tell you no. She is so much more concerned about engaging email subscribers and creating relationships. And that is what today is all about, building relationships through networking. Networking takes a lot of forms, but the underlying theme is to create genuine connections through conversations and stories. The single most frequent conversation I have with entrepreneurs who are just getting started is about this topic, creating an audience. Sometimes the first instinct, because we're in such a digital world, is to turn to ads on social media or to just keep posting using all of the trending topics, those hashtags, the trending up music files on your reels. And while these things can work, there is a process that you need to follow to make sure that you are building a relationship and not just following the trend and yelling from the top of the mountain to buy my service. Today, I want to share some real down-to-earth ways to get going with networking so that your business can grow and scale to the degree that you'd like. The last thing I want for you is to feel limited by your business. Are you ready? Okay. First up, let me say that each idea I share with you today is something that I'm currently doing, have done, or have on my plan for 2023 to incorporate into my audience building processes and systems. And yes, it's a process to build your audience. And the more systems you have in place to simplify it, the better off. Okay, these are going to require you to step outside your comfort zone, especially if you're an introvert, which I am. And I'm going to talk about that more in just a little while. In fact, here's the thing. You have to step outside that comfort zone. If you find everything that I'm sharing today to be completely comfortable, I want you to ask yourself how you can push it further and step outside your comfort zone. It's outside your comfort zone, and everyone's is different, that the real growth and magic happens when you're building a business and in life. Okay, so I already asked you if you're ready, but I added a few caveats just now. I said, I need you to step outside your comfort zone, or if you're already comfortable with everything, to push further. So I'm going to ask again. Are you still ready? I hope so, because here is idea number one. I want you to think about attending local networking events or events where your target audience will be. For example, if you have an online sewing course that you'd like to sell, go ahead and start attending social events at your local Joann fabric store. Offer to do a workshop at the local unaffiliated fabric store in your town. Attend open houses that are designed for people who sew. In other words, start the conversation. If you help business owners develop speaking skills, attend the local Chamber of Commerce luncheons, get to know the local business owners. You can go to career fairs and meet local staffing agencies. You might even go to high school open houses where you can get to know those teachers who are interacting with your ideal audience. When you meet people in person, you have this unique opportunity to read their body language in a different way than we do on Zoom. We get to meet more people all at once. We get to create local connections who might become clients or referral partners. At the very least, you might meet someone that you can meet for coffee and brainstorm together about your business ideas and next steps. You're creating a connection. But I understand it. I told you that if the idea of thinking of networking leaves you feeling kind of tired because you're introverted and it is just energy zapping, I get it. It leaves me zapped too, until I learned how to set boundaries when I went to networking events. And because I want you to be able to get out there and network without having to feel like you lay low for the week recovering from all of that stimulation, I have created a free PDF with tips for managing networking so that you can thrive, not just survive the process of networking. And you can grab that free PDF at www.coachinghive.com/networking tips. Okay. Now, the next idea that I have for you is to guest on podcast episodes. This one eluded me for a long time. Everyone said, just get on podcasts. And I kept thinking, yeah, that's nice. How am I supposed to find the podcasts, approach the host, ask to be on their show? It felt strange. It felt overwhelming and honestly really confusing because I felt like there should be some kind of process to this. Have you ever been given the advice to guest on podcast episodes and you felt kind of like a fish out of water? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Here is how I overcame that particular challenge and stepped outside my comfort zone. I found a service. I use the service PodMatch. This is a really reasonably priced service that matches you with podcast hosts who are looking for guests. It is going to match you with hosts that fit your audience, fit your area of expertise. And then you reach out, you message them if you'd like to appear on their podcast, and you introduce yourself. The beauty of this process is that the founder, Alex Sanfilippo, teaches you what to say in this introduction. It's part of your onboarding to the PodMatch platform. He wants you to be successful. The other beauty is that the hosts who are on PodMatch are looking for guests. You are not bothering them. You are actually making their life easier by reaching out. It is a win-win for hosts and guests. And if you have a podcast and you need guests, this is a good service for you too. I actually use both features of PodMatch because both are going to increase my reach and my audience. If you have guests on your podcast, they're going to share that with their audience. You get to reach more people. If you guest on podcasts, those hosts are going to share this on their social network with their email audience, and it's going to boost your reach. So if you are interested in guesting on podcast episodes and this has eluded you so far, I'm going to put a link in the show notes for you to check out PodMatch. Okay, that brings me to idea number 3, which is to join an online group of entrepreneurs that allows you to network. Not all online groups let you network. So that's why I want to put that caveat there. Join an online group of entrepreneurs that allows you to network. If you decide that life circumstances don't allow you to attend networking events or even hop onto podcasts as a guest, I get it, time is limited. Look for an online networking group. Being able to connect with fellow entrepreneurs is key because what you're doing is you're sharing about your business And your fellow entrepreneurs will know who to refer people to when someone asks them for a recommendation. Because let's face it, we much prefer to have a personal recommendation than trying to sift through a Google search, all of those results, and hoping for the best when you choose a provider. This is one of the things that I love the best about the new entrepreneur membership that's launching in late March. Members are going to have the opportunity to network with one another, brainstorm, and even mastermind together. It's this kind of interaction that creates connections. It creates the relationships and the opportunities that you can't get when you're just sitting at your desk, posting reliably on social media or running ads and hoping to find the right audience. This brings me to our action item for the week. I want you to choose one way to network within the next month. Get it on your calendar. Choose it now. And I said a month because I hate giving you that much time. But if you're guesting on a podcast episode, that might be as soon as that person that you want to guest on has space available. Or maybe the local networking event you're thinking of, maybe the Chamber of Commerce lunch isn't until almost a month from now. Or maybe that group you're joining, it's only open for new members once or twice a month. Okay, so I want to give you time to actually get in there. You can find a local networking opportunity, a podcast to guest on, a group to join. I don't care what you choose. The key is to get to know more people who are either your ideal client or they know and interact with your ideal client. Just get started. Just get out there and meet someone new. What are you going to choose? I'm really curious. It's always so interesting to me to see what people choose, what they want to do first as they jump in. And again, if the thought of networking, like we've been talking about today, leaves you feeling a little bit nervous, maybe it's something new to you, or it leaves you feeling introverted, tired, be sure to grab my free PDF guide at www.coachinghive.com/networking tips. Before we wrap up this episode, I want to let you know that on Tuesday, I am going to be sharing an extra special conversation that I had with Tyler Foley on the topic of networking and what you can share as you start to begin meeting new people. You are not going to want to miss this deep dive conversation. A few of our Coaching Hive Elite members have already had a sneak peek of it, and they found it to be eye-opening, but also really powerful, and it provided insights into their own hesitation to network. And I know that you are going to gain more than one thing from this conversation with Tyler Foley. I hope you'll join me and Tyler on Thursday for our conversation. Now, as you scroll down to check out the links I've shared with you throughout this podcast for the networking tips PDF, PodMatch, I want you to notice that area for reviews. I would greatly appreciate if you could take 30 seconds or a minute to just right now submit a review for me, because what happens is as you submit those reviews, especially if you don't just click the stars, click those too, right? But also leave just a sentence or two. That helps me know what is helping you the most in these podcast episodes. And if I know what's helping you the most, I can do more of that. And if there's something that you want to hear more about, let me know that as well. I'm here to help you grow your business as an entrepreneur. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the reviews. I look at those. I take time each week to think about what is going to help you move forward the best. And the more feedback you give me, the better I'm able to do that. Okay. I appreciate you. I appreciate that you take time to listen in each week as we talk about the entrepreneur journey. I will see you back here on Thursday for another episode of the Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast, where a focus on mentoring and community and implementation removes the overwhelm of building your successful and profitable business and adds in a dose of momentum. Until next time, have a healthy, safe, and happy week.